In this video, I'm going to show you how to get more done in less time using the productivity framework. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this productivity framework. So a quick roadmap on what we're going to go through is step one is we're going to have a one system for everything. Then we're going to schedule our focus. Then we're going to focus on our blocks. And then we're going to find and organize our information. Then we'll move into finishing our work, managing our capacity. And then I'm going to end with a bonus that will help you with all of these steps. So point number one system for everything. So what you want to be doing in order to maximize your productivity at work is you want to be housing all of your to-dos and all your processes in one place. You don't want some in Outlook and others in Excel and some on To Do or any other platform, or having some like written down in a physical notebook on your desk. You want everything in one spot so that it's easy to access that information. And you want to spend time maintaining that system to make sure that it's updated. All right, so once you have everything in one place, you're going to want to organize it and categorize it so that you can batch as much as possible. So if you have multiple processes and multiple things that you need to do within your database system, then you want to group as much of those as possible, put it in its own category so you can try and do it all at once. Now, of course, once you have everything organized and categorized into their separate buckets, you'll want to schedule time in your calendar to focus on those buckets. Now, the third step is after you've scheduled these different categories or scheduled these different blocks, you're going to want to remove distractions and focus 100% on your work while you're working within those blocks. You don't want to be pulling out your phone. You don't want to be easily accessible through email. You want to do your very best to focus completely on that block so you can get it done as soon as possible. You really want to maximize how much deep work you're doing, which is basically just work that you're doing while you're deeply focused. Now, another important call out while you're working on these blocks is you want to gather all the required information before you dive into your focus time working on your block. Right. So if you're going to be, working out of, several different reports at different times, don't download one report, work on it, and then download the next one. Download all seven at the very beginning, have them almost locked and loaded so that you could rapid fire through these and avoid, again, those distractions. But you want to get your work organized in one place and have easy access to all information you need in order to maximize your productivity and to minimize the time it takes to get those tasks done within that block of time. And then, of course, the fifth point here is you want to finish your work. So you want to work until your work is done, not just to pass the time. And what I mean by this is it's very tempting to be within this block of time and say that this block of time is dedicated to X category. And so I'm just going to kind of run out the time and make myself feel better for spending all this time on this task, but not actually getting any work done. You want to be focusing on outputs and making sure that what you're outputting within these blocks of time is high quality. And you want to be making sure that you're finishing these tasks and you're getting your work done within those blocks of time so it's not leaking over into other areas of your workload. And then, of course, the sixth step in this entire process is to make sure that you're managing your capacity, right? The first five steps was all about maximizing your productivity, going deep and working hard, but you want to make sure that you can do this at a sustained rate, right? This is a marathon versus a sprint, and you really need to manage your energy. And then even outside of work, you want to be making sure that you're resting, you're getting quality sleep, you're eating well, and you're drinking enough water so that you can sustain this high level of productivity long term versus burning out via sprinting through all your work tasks. And that is the sixth step. And so that is the productivity framework. So now you know how to go deep and how to maximize your productivity at work in order to spend or in order to get more done in less time. Now, I did promise a bonus, and so we'll go ahead and move on to that bonus, which is different productivity types. So, one of the obstacles that you will run into going through this process is different people have different ways of getting things done, and they all have strengths and weaknesses. So, it's important to know which one you are in order to maximize your strengths and minimize your weaknesses. So, here are the five different productivity types, and you want to identify which one you are in order to understand your strengths and weaknesses. So the very first one right here, the first person picks what they feel like working on. So basically, what happens is you'll come into your to-do list and you'll browse through it and you'll just select something that you feel like working on, right? I don't feel like doing this, but I do feel like doing this. It's a little bit easier, so I'll go ahead and work on this, right? That's not going to, if you're that personality, that's not going to maximize your productivity. Because if you only ever work on what you feel like working on, you will most likely never get the high impact tasks done that you need to get done in order to maximize your impact and have high value at work. The second productivity type is works on things as they appear. The FIFO phrase right there, first in, first out, is basically as a task comes in via email, they work on it. And when another task comes in, they work on it and they kind of just work on it in order like that. Now, the problem with that type is that you're really at the mercy of everyone sending you their tasks. And so your productivity is based on other people. And you really want to take control of your productivity, because if you do that, you're probably not going to be working on too many high impact tasks at work. Now, I totally get it if that is your primary role, right? If you're working customer service or something like that, where a lot of that has to deal with, FIFO, first in, first out, but you still want to find a way in order to work on high impact tasks, even within that framework or that productivity type. The other productivity type is you work on who is yelling the loudest, right? This is kind of the squeaky wheel gets the oil syndrome, where if you have one person or one manager who is very loud and sends all their emails with an important type to it and all caps and all that, and they're asking for help as soon as possible, and you just you help them because they're the loudest. That also kind of goes back to the previous point, where if you're only working on what's being sent to you, chances are you're not maximizing your time in order to work on high impact tasks, and that person is really, really controlling your productivity. And so you want to be very aware of people who do that, and you really most often don't want to be prioritizing those who yell the loudest. The other productivity type is works on items as they think of them. So this is really driven by someone who is nervous about forgetting something, and so they'll just, as they remember something, it doesn't even have to be written down or on the to-do list or even in an email, but as they remember it, they get it done immediately. Now, the problem with that is you're kind of jumping from task to task, and you don't really have a good schedule or a strong framework in order to maximize your productivity. So you'll end up wasting a lot of time. So again, this is where the very first step that we talked about comes into effect, where you want to keep all of the work that you need to do organized in one place so that you don't have to rely on your memory in order to get these things done, right? You want to leverage the power of technology to ease the pain on your brain and to ease the requirement of memorization on your brain. So use that program in order to house all that information in one place. And then the last productivity type is works by sticky note. So this is someone who is a bit of a mix of all of them, where if you look at their desktop screen, they have a million tabs open. They have a bunch of different programs going, right? They are jumping from task to task and they're not finishing their work, right? Going back to one of our steps, they're not actually finishing the work before moving on to another task or another block of time. And so this person is also going to not be able to maximize their productivity because they're constantly jumping from, one program to another and not finishing their work. And they're really at the mercy of other people's requests. And when you're not finishing and looking out your output, then you're not going to be able to maximize your productivity, and you're not going to be able to focus on those high impact tasks and get more done in less time. All right, and so those are the technically the 6 steps for the framework with that bonus understanding your productivity type. And so now you know how to get more done in less time using this productivity framework. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and leave a comment down below and I'll be happy to address it. Thank you so much for watching. If you want more content like this, then go ahead and subscribe down below so that you don't miss a single video. And if you want to level up at work even more, check out my free course down below on the Eve method. It will show you how to determine the best possible way of getting your work done at work in order to drastically increase your productivity, save you massive amounts of time so that you can spend that time in other areas of your life.